Welcome everybody. Let me make sure we got audio on. Getting a little late start tonight, but we're going to do a short video. It probably won't be as long as my normal spot. Let's see here. Okay, what I've done, and I did a little work off camera, like 3 o'clock this morning. I worked on it a little bit. I went ahead and put the sheeting on this. Put the leading edge on the one side. As I told you, I build these wings in halves and then join them together like you would a foam wing. Well, it becomes handy when you're in a small space like this to do it this way. So the next thing I have to do, I'm going to continue working on this side, and we'll work on the other side this week. By the end of the week, this wing will be done. And so this is my, oh shoot, I got to change the title of this. This should have been 5, a new CLP plane 5. So we got 5 or 6 hours in this mess so far, which is not a big deal. But what I have to do is plot out for where the hinges go. And we'll do that, and we'll do the trailing edge boxing in, and that'll be the end of that for today. So I need to come over here, and let's see, we have these, I have it measured out because I'm not building from plans or anything, and everything's out of my head. I just have to use some reference. Let's see here. First one in is 3.5, and they're 3.5, and they're 8 inches apart. So I need to make a mark on this. Come in 3.5, and then they're 8 inches apart. So it'll be right in the middle of that. And 16. So I don't want to do that. I want to do right in the center of this center rib here. So we're going to move them over 1/4 inch. So 16. That works a little better. So I made 2 sets of marks, which is not a big deal. But what I've been doing, so that I don't lose those marks, is I drill them. Right now, we know that we're using my hinges, so I take a 3/32 drill bit and I drill right in the center of the trailing edge. That way you can't sand the mark off. It's a hole. The hinge goes there. So we're going to come here, right in the center. And right here. Got a call from Al Ray today. He said that the molds and the skins are in the mail. So my hinges uses another set of hinges for the horns, so the horns have to have a set of hinge blocks in them as well. So we'll put that right between the center. Let's see, yeah, the center and 2. There we go. You can't see what I'm doing. Okay. Okay, so I have all the hinge holes pre-drilled. By the way, this wing panel weighs 2.2 ounces, and I'll prove that to you on camera. So I'm going to need a block of wood. Let's see, we need a stick. I got a piece of 3/8 here. And let's see, we'll cut 3/8. Let's see, we need to measure how deep this is. 3/8. That worked out good. Okay, great. So we'll make a piece of, we'll make a block 3/8 square. I'll just strip a couple pieces. Come on. You don't need much, because all we're doing is gluing the tang of the hinge into this. Let's see, I guess I've lost my knife now too. Disappeared. Remember, anytime you have to go across grain, use a saw. It's a lot easier. So what happened to my knife? Anybody see the knife laying up there? Very difficult to work in one little spot because I have no bench room, no place to set anything. I have a razor blade and we'll use that, I guess. We'll cut these into 3/4 inch length and just whack it off. So you need 4 of those blocks. Now you can spend a lot of time fitting these blocks perfectly, but there's really not any need for it. A, nobody's going to see them. They're inside the wing. They're inside the trailing edge. You know, I like them to fit relatively well. You don't want to force it because then you're forcing the trailing edge wider. So I'm going to take the razor blade and just cut a small taper into it. Because all this is the hinge anchor. So I've tapered it up like that. You know, there's no sense in making a big deal out of some of this stuff. Some of these guys really go overboard. Just see it into place. So we're going to get back on the Al Rabe airplane. I'll be back and forth on this. I Shoot, I still got my profile to go. Profile I could finish up in a weekend if I ever got back to it. But as I've stated, I have, life is so short. I have a whole bunch of projects that I want to do. Not enough time. And the shear webbing is probably the biggest thing that I wanted to show tonight in the trailing edge. How to do it. It's real simple. Come on. Ah. Okay. Heck, I ain't got no hair. I guess I'm just another old fart. Alrighty. So the first thing we're going to do is to show you that I'm not blowing smoke. There's the scale. See if you can see that. You'll have to look down through the I'll turn it on. I can't tell whether you can see or not. This little object here weighs 2.4 ounces. So it'll be 2.5 ounces when I get the shear webbing in it. I found my scalpel, or 5 ounce total. I see that I've snapped that loose, so I've got to I wish they'd make a glue bottle that didn't clog up. Okay. Oh, I'm starting to get aggravated. Damn glue bottle. Okay, try it now. I might have to put a new snorkel on this thing. Try it there. Ah, there we go. We got glue coming out now, big time. Okay. What happened was I knocked the sheeting loose. I didn't have much glue on it. Because you got to remember, the dope is glue. And I talked to John today about a video that I watched this morning about 3 o'clock in the morning of a guy building airplanes with paper. And I think I'm going to give it a try. Foam and paper. Okay, so let's sand that, make sure that we're going to be okay. And got knocked loose there. So I don't want to glue from the outside because then you got a glue spot that you got to try to overcome in finishing. And you kind of got to all do this before you lock it up. So let's do a little spritz. That lock it up? Yep. That up right here. Ooh, smoke. It'll all get detailed glue. I just don't want to go any farther without making sure that I've got it all glued well. Otherwise, what happens if you get too far, you forget something. That feels pretty good. You can get yourself some of these Durablocks. They really work good. This is a lightweight, hard block. I'm using 320. Get them on Amazon. Get a set. And no, I'm not a paid spokesman for Durablock, but I know enough about sanding to know what works good. Okay, let's do this. So now I need shear webbing. So I have a machinist scale. I think I got these two for $6 on Amazon. And these read down to 64ths. So you want to measure what this distance is here. Of course, I have a set of vernier calipers too. Let's use those. It's a lot easier doing that. The trick is make life easy. Stare at calipers, kind of hard to beat those. So we go inside, zero it out. It's 499 thousandths there. About 450 there. 450. So we got a high spot by a few thousandths. We'll sand that out. So I don't want to cut a whole lot of shims for this that are too big. You want them just right. So I'm going to cut them 450 thousandths. A little shy of a ½ inch. I use 16th. Trying to find some punk 16th. Let's see here. That's not really that great. That's 12. I'd like to find some 6 gram. Yep, that feels a good piece. That's close enough. So normally at home I work on a glass top and I glue a stop here, but I'm not going to be able to do that because I don't have the room here. So I'm going to use my square if I can find it. And we'll use this one. Yeah, this is too big. Let's see if we can find a small one here. Okay, before the next show, I'm going to clean all this mess up so I got a little room to work. So close enough. You want to keep these things as square as you can, so use a square. That one might be a little big. We'll make the next one. We'll take the line off on that one. Make it 31/64. Now I have to cut enough of these to go all the way across the wing. So this one's 31/64. We'll see if this is the right size. I think this probably will be. What I need to do is make a mark, make a jig. Let's see if I can do that this way. Okay, we're gonna make a jig right here on the table. So I don't have to go through this business too much. Leave that. That. This probably won't last long, this jig, because it's balsa wood, but it might get through the trailing edge, maybe. This jig should be hardwood instead of balsa. So we want it 31/64. Right there. And I'll show you why I'm doing this. So it needs to be right there. We'll put a stop right there. Now this few seconds of setting this up will make this process go a lot faster. I just wish it was hardwood instead of balsa, because I know when I cut down through this, it's going to cut this up and I'm going to have a problem, but it'll give you the idea how to set the jig up. Now normally I do this on glass. I'll glue the stop here. This is the edge of the glass. And then I put a stop here for the square. So we know that these are going to be 31/64 because that's what I measured. And you just put your square on there and put it on the stop. You don't have to keep measuring. Anything to make things easy, make it faster. You don't want to make this a lifelong project. It's kind of, unless, you know, some guys like hand fitting and all that business. I just like to get things done. Now, you could use, I don't have any 32nd, but you could use 32nd inch wood for this sheeting, for this shear webbing, but I don't have any. And save half the weight again. You say, man, that guy's really worried about weight. Well, I am. You know, before I get too crazy, let's see if they fit. I'd sure hate to cut up 200 of them and not fit. I need my number 22 blade to set that down in there. Okay, this is what you get. See how nice that fits in there? Of course, I'm going to push it up all the way to the rib. And then you just flatten it out till it's touching real good everywhere. So that locks in. Remember, we're building light, so you have to use all the strength you can get. So you want all the fits and angles and everything kind of perfect, really. Okay. Make sure that you can see what I'm doing here. I need to get my long blade. Huh. The number 22 blade works the best for this. And the reason being is you can hold the piece of wood with the blade, lay it down, and trowel it right along. Shoot, I'm having a heck of a time with this. What's happening? Because I'm trying to show you. Then just take some CA and wick it on there. That's locked up. Of course, the glue bottle's clogged again. Come on. Okay. Man, I'm getting tired of monkeying with that. I'd like it to fit in perfect. The thing is, I'm trying to show you, and I normally don't have any problem with this. There it is. Any questions? We're going to go all the way down this trailing edge, boxing it in. Kind of like boxing in a car frame. Got a little gap there, so we'll put a little gap filling CA in that little gap. Don't want to use too much of that. That stuff's heavy. Perfect. So now kind of the most important thing to do is don't forget your hinge blocks. If you're using plate hinges like the Dubro hinge or whatever, you still have to have, because I'm only using a 3/16 trailing edge, you still have to have a block to glue the hinge into. You can't just glue it into 3/16. It would pull out in a heartbeat. That's too long. It's how long? Too long. 1/16 of an inch. And fit on these is very important. So we're going to cut a 1/16 of an inch off of that. I'll show you why this is important here. Still too much. Another 16 or 32nd more. "37 minutes. Boy, how time flies." There we go. She'll fit now. Remember, we're using engineering and not lumber to make strength, so boxing all this stuff in is an absolute must. Okay. Why is this important? Because this is a geodesic wing, the span between the ribs is about twice as much as it would be on a straight ribbed airplane. So what happens is the trailing edge dips in. There's no strength. But when you box this up, it becomes like a piece of tubing on the back of that. Here, I mean, I do have some, quarter ribs in the trailing edge here. But in order to complete that out, you want to box all this in. So it makes a V-tube, so to speak. Seeing that this wing is a C-tube wing instead of a D-tube wing, you have to try to capture as much strength as you can. Now I did put in the shear webbing and glue them in. Like I said, I did that about 3 o'clock this morning. It's about my bedtime here shortly. Well, anyway, that's how I do the trailing edges and the leading edges. And once I get this V'd out, I'll go back in and put the cap strips on the bottom, and then I'm sanding with this block at all times to keep everything nice and flat. Like right here, I can feel that cap strip sticking up. Yeah, got it now. All this attention to detail makes a big difference in the finish. I still feel it. I mean, it's ever so slight. It's only a few thousandths. But if you don't address this now in the raw wood, when you go to finish it, it'll stick out like a sore thumb, like you can't believe. So for the extra minute or so that it takes to go through this, and that's another reason why I use 3/32 wood instead of 16th. If that was 16th, you'd already have it halfway down. See, I'm sanded down to about 77 thousandths here. I could measure it, but I know that it's less than 3/32 right here, because that's why I use that wood, is because it gives you a little sand room. But you have to use light 3/32. You can't be using 8, 9, 10 pound 3/32. I built about 1990, I built a Viper that the entire wing was built from 3/32. These ribs are 16th, but those ribs were 3/32. The wood that I got from Schaefer's Hobby that year was to die for. It was the 60s wood. It was just the best wood you could imagine. That airplane had a Super Tiger 51 in it, and I sold it to Ron, but had a swept forward trailing edge and a D-tube wing, all made of 3/32. It was under 50 ounces. It was super nice. All aerogloss finished. There is a picture of it, I think, in the gallery, either District 6 or front row. I'm not sure. But it had checkerboards on the leading edge, blue, and Pratt & Whitney decal on the rudder. Beautiful. It was just super neat. Anyway, so let's put another piece in. Keep going. See, I got a little big. What happened here? There we go. Nope. Gonna have to sand it a little. I gotta give it a little persuasion. Don't force anything. You'll be sorry. Only took a second to clean that up. Got a little rambunctious with the glue there. Let's see, 14 more minutes. And that's our hour. I know that one's too big just by looking at it. FCM is next weekend, going to be live streaming. I think I got enough bandwidth left to do at least half an hour. Unless you guys want to chip in and donate on bandwidth, I can't afford to do it. I don't like that. I'll cut it too small. So we'll cut another one. 1/16 bigger. And I need to sand it a little bit more. Can't believe Al Ray, but what a nice guy. Gonna send me the molds and the skins. So I've got original Al Ray molds, skins, canopies, tank kit. Still not quite enough. Giving me a fit. Got it. I don't know why some things that are so easy have to be so damn hard. So let's do a little recap here. That sheeting should fit in there just like that. I mean, it's not that big a deal. It's not that hard. I don't know what that was 11. That was an 11. So 11, I think that's probably 6-pound wood. I wish I had some lighter stuff, but I don't. So we're going to finish this bay off, and I'm going to answer any questions you guys may have, and I'm going to call it quits for tonight. Still got to eat dinner and go to bed. That's all I do. Sand, eat, sleep, work. Didn't plan things out very well in life, I guess. The biggest thing I can give you, the biggest piece of advice I can give you, make sure all your joints are tight. Use half the amount of glue, and let me explain this to you, why I think it's so important to have a tight joint. You have two pieces of wood that are glued in this orientation, and they're a tight joint, and it's glued. There's no place for it to work. If you have a gap in it, it has a place to work back and forth, and that's a sure place that the wing is going to fail. And we're building. This is basically free flight building. So we're building so light, you have to make sure that your fits are good, if that makes any sense. Knock on wood, I've never had a wing fail. Never. And I'll tell you this, when these airplanes that are built like this hit the ground, they look like they melt right into the ground. They go right into the hole. There's nothing there. But it only has to be as strong as it takes not to flex. Looks like I'm getting a little twist in this, maybe. Might have to keep an eye on that. Don't want to build any warps in the darn thing. Step back and look. Maybe I just got some shit on here. That's what it is. There's just crap on the cradle. Yeah. You want to make sure that the thing stays in the cradle flat. There was just some crap on the cradle, and oh man, I'm getting a warp in this thing. But no, I'm not, so we're good. Anyway, that was the update. Are there any questions before I sign off? Go ahead, you can type in the chat box. Make sure to like, subscribe, share the videos. Join us on Stunt Hangar. Rusty or Charles does a chat every Monday and Friday night. So I guess there's no questions for this evening. We worked about an hour, as I've stated. You know, these builds are an hour a day until it's done. And I got 5 hours in the thing now, and I got both halves of the wing done. I've just now I got the other half here, and I'll bring it, get it as far as this, and then thanks, Steve. I'll get it as far as this, and then glue them together. We have a whole wing. I'll put in the compression spar and bell crank and horns. Be done. Within, if I wasn't going to FCM this weekend, the wing would be done this week. But then what do I do with it? I have no place to store it or finish it or whatever. So it's not. This is not a big rush. So it's one of those things that this airplane will be ready for next year. We get to jump on it. Like I said, I start a new airplane every August. I didn't realize it until I went back and looked at all the videos and go, I've started a new plane every August. I think that started in 2004 when I came back from Muncie in the Worlds. I said, I got to build another airplane. That's when I built them Thunderbolts in August, because the Worlds was in July. Alright guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow night. I'll try to get on my normal time instead of late. Eat early. And we'll try to get some more stuff done besides the little bit that we did tonight. So we'll see you again. Fair winds, tight lines. See ya.